How would you grade your run defense today?
I thought we played well against the run. I really wish we'd have knocked down that last run on the 4th and 2, but I thought our guys competed today at a high level against a really good running attack, 2 really good runners, and I really felt like, we've really settled into how we want to play and who we want to play with, and I think that our guys are responding to, coming after the bye with a lot of purpose. We're playing with a lot more physicality. We're tackling well. We're setting better edges. We're playing with more penetration up front. And our second and third level are a lot more sure of where to fit because of it. And so I think we've made a lot of improvement over the last 3 games.
How do you view your continuity of this offense at this stage of the season right now?
I think that, I like the way that we're utilizing our people. I think that we've gone into these games with, really quality plans. I think our execution today wasn't good enough today. Our execution on offense, our execution on defense, and in the kicking game, it wasn't consistent enough to beat that team, and that's why we lost, because our guys were playing really hard, but we need to execute better for sure. And we went through some stretches there offensively where there were far too many 3-and-outs, especially in the first half. We had the 2 punts, a short field goal, and then we threw the interception in our own area. And so and then we showed some really good stretches of moving the football at will. So we just have to execute more consistently, and it's not just offensively. Same thing with our defense and our kicking game.
Brandon, the final drive, you guys had him backed up behind the sticks a couple of times because of penalties. There's a third down completion to Jefferson, third down completion to Thielen there. Just from your perspective, what happened there on that final drive and why you guys weren't able to get off the field?
Yeah, we were in coverages that we feel like are really good. The first one, I really felt the story was on the second down where the guy kind of fell forward. We had him tackled, and then he kind of, squirted through and made it a 3rd and 6. It should have been a 3rd and much longer than that. It was just kind of a weird, unlucky circumstance. And then we're in kind of like a drop 8 cover 1. We played a lot of split safety man to take away both of those guys. And so we're kind of in a drop 8 cover 1. We wanted to pack the middle of the field, and, he threw a lob outside, and, it's one of those perfect throws and perfect catches. And then on the last, third down, we're in a split safety man to take away Jefferson and Thielen, and our corner doesn't sink Thielen, and he gets inside of him, and it's just poor technique, and they get it into 4th and 2, and it should never have come to that, and it's disappointing. And that's what I talk about execution is we've got to coach and play better, because that's a situation that favors us, and we have to be able to get Justin the ball back for a chance to win the game. And we didn't execute well enough in a defense that's designed to take away exactly what happened. So we have to coach and play much better. But our guys are playing hard, and I think what we learned from today as a team is that our execution wasn't good enough.
Go ahead, just with the pass defense overall, did you feel like today was maybe some injuries catching up to you guys with Michael Davis out, with Nas out, just in terms of Justin Jefferson being able to get going the way he did?
They've got some quality receivers. Those 2 guys are as good as it gets. And I felt like we rushed the passer well today. And we just had some untimely misses in this game. And you got to tip your cap to them. I mean, Jefferson catches a couple lobs. Those guys were earning their yards. And our plan was engineered to take them away. And you've got a running attack to deal with too. So, I felt like we were really good in stretches, and I really liked the way we were playing in stretches. But you've got to do it consistently over 4 quarters. And we have a lot of young players out there, but that's no excuse. We got to execute better to get our offense more turns. And the time of possession, just was, big time in their favor today. It was like 36-23. It felt that way. And at halftime, we had like 43 plays, and it felt that way. I felt like we were hanging tough. But we just got to play better, Daniel, in all 3 phases, and we got to execute better in the passing game. And that's pass defense isn't just pass coverage; it's pass rush and pass coverage, and then we got to keep putting them in good spots. But I tip my cap to Justin and Thielen; those guys are really good players, and Kirk made some big throws in that game.
Brandon, is it the last three out of the last 4 games? The offense just hasn't gotten clicking. Like you said, there's been moments, but either interceptions, penalties, turnovers. What can you put your finger on as why you guys aren't consistently being able to score points and put up points by the bunches the way you kind of were at the beginning of the season?
Yeah, I think we got to keep playing with more pace, more tempo, more rhythm and timing, and I think that we've got to avoid negative plays. I feel like today there were, from an execution standpoint, there were drops today that I didn't like. There were some untimely protection issues that I didn't like. There were some times where, hey, a play that's designed to go for a bunch, that should go for a bunch, doesn't. And I think that there's just, our players and coaches, we got to execute better as a collective group, and coaching and players. And I think once we do, you guys have seen how we can play. But I think where we're at 5-4 is just we're fighting. It seems every week we're fighting to kind of find that rhythm and timing. It's not there yet. We're not there yet. I think our record is reflective of that in all three phases. We're trying to find it, and our guys are playing hard, but our execution needs to improve.
Was there a problem with the headset at one point?
There was a huge headset issue.
Brandon, you guys are winning the road games, but not winning at home. I think you're 2 and 3 at home. Why do you think the struggles are coming at home, and could it be the opposing team fans here that kind of usually take over the games?
Yeah, I think it has more to do with the teams that we're playing. Gilberto, we have to execute better. The opposing crowd has no factor in our success. It's more about the Chargers and our level of execution, and I think it starts there for me.
The headset issues, you said, was it going in and out all game? Or was it isolated?
Most of the game, there was like a big stretch in the middle where my communication to the defensive signal caller wasn't good. We had to swap them out. We had to have this wholesale change. They couldn't hear me. I couldn't hear them, and we had to swap them out.
In the last fourth down that you had, you need 2 scores or you kicked a field goal. Did you think about going for the touchdown? Or what?
I did. I felt like we, the certainty of points and to give ourselves a chance. I felt like defensively that we would get an opportunity for us to come back, and then we would be able to score and then go for 2 to win. But I felt like it was going to be a one-possession game, and I felt like, the certainty of points there was good. And I felt like with time being on our side, I felt like we could get a possession back and we would be able to go down there and score a touchdown. And so we had all of our timeouts in the 2-minute, and I just felt like at that circumstance it was the right thing to do to truly make it a one-possession game.
In that specific situation, you've really leaned into the math with most of your decisions on fourth down this year. Just in terms of your models, was that like a strong go that you went against, or?
No, it was in the 4 yard. It was 4 yards, kind of that area, and I just felt like the certainty of the points was too good to pass up, and our kicker was kicking well, and I just felt like defensively that we could get a stop, and it was still going to be a one-possession game regardless, and I just really wanted to make it a certain one-possession game, and so that's why I went for it.
And there was a 4th and 4 in the first half. You took the delay game and punted. Just the thought process there with that.
Yeah, it just felt like the field position. I mean, in that circumstance, it was on the 44-ish, and I felt like, we pinned them down there, and I really liked the way our defense was playing, and felt like, force a long field, similar to last week in Philly, similar thought process. Just felt like don't let them shrink the field with quality offense like that, and just felt like, we would put ourselves in a good position to flip the field. And, on that drive, there were a couple, the next drive, there were a couple of things defensively, some penalties, and they ended up kicking a field goal. But I just felt strongly about the field position in that circumstance. And from our modeling standpoint, it was kind of a 50-50 deal, and just felt like the field position was more important at that juncture.
Brandon, when you came out in the third quarter, you guys seemed to find your rhythm offensively.
Yeah.
Were you surprised that didn't carry over?
For the rest of the game?
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that drive coming out of the halftime. I really felt like we were aggressive, felt like, running the ball, throwing the football, staying ahead of it, and, just felt like our guys were executing at a high level. I felt like our pace was good, and I was a little surprised. I felt like, again, we had like these, these really good stretches, and then it felt like we were fighting to find it in other stretches. And so we just have to go back to work. We have to go back to work and, find that consistency. Because when we've executed like I know we can, then we've been really tough to stop, and that's what we need to continue to strive for.
Brandon, we talked this week about the recipe sort of developing of how to beat you guys, controlling time of possession, and that happened in the Ravens game and the Patriots game. It seemed to happen again today with you guys losing the time possession. How do you overcome that? How do you combat like losing the time possession? Is it just executing better on offense? And
yeah, we lost the time possession today because of the way we played on offense, not because of the way we played on defense. We were playing really well on third down, and they had a couple critical third downs there towards the end of the game, but in the middle of the game, we were playing really, really well on third down, and and I think that it was more of, if you take a look at our offensive possessions in the first half, I mean, that's more indicative of why they possessed the ball so much. And then there were a couple penalties in there that allowed some drives to, for them to keep going. So, again, I think that, we, special teams, we had a penalty, we force a punt. We're in good spot. We have a block in the back instead of being on the 20. Now we're on the 10. Again, it was all three phases today, and coaching and playing, we got to do better.
Do you think that 15-yard penalty to Chris Rumpf was fair? The unsportsmanlike.
I didn't see it, so I can't speak on that. I mean, I was kind of told, but I can't speak on that.
And how would you assess the way Justin Herbert played today?
I felt like at times he was playing within really good rhythm and timing, and then you saw a lot of confidence and a team that's tough to stop. And then I felt like there are other times where we just didn't play with really good rhythm or timing, and I feel like that's where we can improve. And I think when we were at our best today is when we were pushing the pace and we were staying on schedule and we were being aggressive on early downs. And I feel like getting him on the move, just it really helps his game out, helps our line out. And I like that formula. I felt like that drive in the second half to start out the second half, that was a really good formula drive for us. But they're very well coached on defense, and they played a gutty game today because they had a lot of guys out too. And it was a gutty performance by those guys.